In this video, we'll break down the 4 most important point-ending shots in pickleball, we'll explore how to execute them with precision, and we'll talk about modern pickleball through the lens of statistical advantage. While there are many shots to develop, research shows that only 4 consistently end the majority of rallies. Competitive play is not about mastering everything equally. It is about prioritizing what wins points most often. It may seem surprising that the 4th most common way to end a point is the dink. Dinks are not traditionally viewed as aggressive shots, yet most rallies are built through extended dinking exchanges at the kitchen line. Because so many balls are struck in this phase, errors accumulate here. More importantly, disciplined dinking creates opportunities for opponents to make mistakes. The first principle is target selection. There are countless options during a dink rally, but advanced players simplify the decision-making process. One of the most common mistakes players make is identifying discomfort in an opponent and then abandoning that target prematurely. If a backhand near the feet creates hesitation, that area should be attacked over and over until it is proven stable. A critical location is the pressurized zone around the opponent's feet. Aiming too shallow in the kitchen allows the opponent to maintain a solid base and contact the ball comfortably in front. When the ball lands deeper toward the back foot, the opponent must decide whether to take it out of the air low to the ground or step backward, which many players find uncomfortable. This pressure creates forced errors. Executing this effectively requires aggressive push dinks with top spin. Top spin can only be generated by getting the paddle face underneath the ball and brushing up the backside. Bent legs help the player get below the ball. The brushing action creates rotation, allowing the ball to travel aggressively toward the pressurized zone while still dipping into the court. Wherever the paddle face points at contact largely determines the ball's direction. These paddles do not absorb and carry the ball, they redirect it. If direction feels inconsistent, the likely cause is misaligned paddle face at contact. Preparation is equally important. Reaching while off balance limits options and increases errors. Shuffling behind the ball creates time, control, and multiple attacking possibilities. Early preparation and proper positioning transform dinking from passive rallying into calculated pressure. The next major point ender is the classic pop-up. When an opponent leaves the ball too high, the opportunity to finish must be executed correctly. Most pop-ups occur at the kitchen line, and they fall into 3 distinct zones. The first zone is the clear overhead. When the ball travels above the head, proper overhead mechanics are required. The offhand plays a vital role. Pointing at the ball improves tracking and positions the body correctly. At contact, snapping the wrist adds pace and downward angle. Following through across the body stabilizes momentum and maximizes power. This is the ideal finishing scenario and should end the point outright when executed properly. The second zone occurs between chest and head height. The ball is still above net height, allowing downward contact, but there is insufficient time or height for a full overhead motion. Instead, the player treats it like a forehand or backhand struck downward. The key mistake here is chasing power. Because the contact point is lower than an overhead, outright winners are less likely. Placement and angle become more important than force. In this zone, slight topspin or side spin may be necessary because contact is made more on the side of the ball rather than directly above it. Aiming toward the opponent's feet or into wide angles increases the likelihood of forcing an error. The third and most challenging zone occurs at net height. Here, the instinct to hit downward must be restrained because doing so sends the ball into the net. Power is no longer the objective. Spin and placement take priority. Contact must shift underneath the ball to generate top spin that carries the shot over the net while remaining aggressive. The goal is not necessarily to end the point immediately, but to force an additional pop-up. Targets remain consistent: the opponent's feet, wide angles, and often the backhand side. Aggression here means using margin and spin, not reckless pace. Drives are among the most effective weapons in pickleball. When struck from the correct position with proper mechanics, they can function as near putaways due to their pace. Power on drives originates from the ground. The legs and hips initiate movement, with the paddle lagging behind before whipping through contact. Relying solely on the arm severely limits pace. Athletic positioning on the balls of the feet enables proper pivot and weight transfer. Getting below the ball is critical for generating top spin, especially since pickleballs bounce low. Without contacting underneath and brushing upward, hard drives will sail long. Creating separation from the ball also matters. Crowded contact leads to restricted motion and reduced power. Space allows full hip rotation and controlled acceleration. Finally, volleys are statistically the #1 way rallies end. Volleys include both controlled volley dinks and fast hands battles. Volley dinks remove time from the opponent. The key is recognizing when the ball will land beyond comfortable reach. Pace is unnecessary. Placement toward corners, feet, and backhands gradually destabilizes the opponent until a pop-up appears. Patience and consistency set up the finishing opportunity. In hands battles, biasing the backhand improves coverage of the chest and body. Slightly tilting the paddle prepares the wrist for quicker backhand reactions. Target selection again focuses on the feet as soon as the ball is low enough to attack downward. While many shots exist in pickleball, 4 account for the majority of rally endings: dinks that create pressure, pop-ups that must be finished by zone, drives that generate pace and placement advantage, and volleys that conclude exchanges at the kitchen. Each has distinct technical requirements and tactical priorities. Modern competitive play rewards clarity. Mastering these 4 categories aligns training with statistical reality. When preparation centers on the shots that end rallies most often, performance becomes more intentional, controlled, and effective under pressure.